One of the things we're going to focus on today is using formulas in Studio. Formulas are similar to what you would think of when you're doing any formulas within Excel. They're pretty simple to do, but can get quite complicated. We're going to show some examples of each of these today. You can see Sugar comes with a formula builder built within Studio. It's got a couple of buttons I wanted to point out. In the upper left corner, you have related fields. So that would be if you're on an account, or let's say you're on a contact, and you want to look at some field on the parent account. You could traverse that relationship by going to the related fields button and grab information from the account. Roll up is somewhat similar, except for that you can do summations from child records. So for example, if you're on an account and you want to see the sum of all opportunities related to that account, you would click the roll up button. You could also do the sum of all opportunities that are closed won that are related to the account. Then down below, you have a lower left, you have functions, where you can actually see all of the functions that Sugar Logic allows. Here I've typed in the filter EQ so you can see equals. And if you hover over the equal in the functions, it'll actually give you a little help text about it. And then on the right, you have fields, where you can see all of the fields that are available on the module you're currently looking at within the Studio. And then, of course, you can filter there for new fields. So these can be used in a number of different places. The first place we're going to cover is calculated fields. I just mentioned briefly what these would be. Things like you're maybe pulling information down from a parent account to show it at the contact level, as well as, or summing up information from child opportunities, for example. The field would then be read-only because it's calculated. Obviously, Sugar is setting it. You do have to keep in mind that if I have a formula on my account that is updated based on opportunities, maybe the sum of all related opportunities, anytime I edit an opportunity, it's going to update the parent account. And vice versa, for example, if you have cases and you're pulling information down from the parent account, perhaps the account status, so you can see at the case level whether or not they are supported or not. Every time you edit the account, it's going to update all of the related cases. You can run into issues there if you have 500, 1,000 cases for one account. Every time you want to save that account, you have to also save 500 to 1,000. Every time you want to save that account, you have to save the related 5,000 to 500 to 1,000 cases. And that can take a few seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds to save, which is not a good user experience. So you want to be careful when using calculated fields and think of those types of things. Also, calculated fields, as I've mentioned, kind of update every time the record's saved. So it's not really good for when this happens, do that. You'd want to use workflows for that. We could also use formulas for dependent fields. So the field would be hidden until a certain condition is met. And then there's also now conditionally required fields. So the field is not required until a certain condition is met. And if we're using that along with dependent fields, you'd want to make sure your required formula is more restrictive or equally restrictive as the dependent field, because you wouldn't want a field that's required but hidden. Sugar, I think, handles that well, but it's still not something you'd want to try out.